Episode 2 of Heartland Season 19 picks up right after the devastating forest fire. The community is still shaken, homes are damaged, and the ranch is trying to get back on its feet. You can feel that quiet sadness in the air, that exhaustion after chaos. Amy and Nathan, who seemed stronger than ever in the previous episode, are now facing a silence between them that feels heavier than smoke. They both survived the fire, yes, but it seems like something between them burned out too. The fire brought them close physically, but emotionally, it uncovered every little crack they had been ignoring. Amy starts the episode trying to focus on rebuilding, both the ranch and her relationship. She wants to believe everything is fine, that the fire was just a test they passed together, but deep down, she knows something has changed. Nathan has been distant. Not cold, but quiet in that way people are when they're hiding something. You can see it in the way he avoids her eyes when they talk, or how he suddenly finds reasons to stay busy at the ranch. Amy tries to shrug it off, blaming stress, exhaustion, or maybe the trauma from the fire. But when Lou comes back from a city meeting, her words ignite a whole new storm. Lou, being Lou, wastes no time telling Amy that she should reconsider her relationship with Nathan. She says it's not personal, it's business. Apparently, Lou discovered that Nathan's sister went through with a land deal that undercut Heartland's new project proposal. And worse, she might have used inside information that Nathan knew about. Lou believes Nathan knew this all along and kept it from Amy. The accusation hits Amy like a punch to the chest. She can't believe it. Nathan, the man who risked his life to save her, the man who stood by her through the fire, betraying her trust like that? It doesn't make sense. But Lou is serious. And for once, Amy can't just dismiss her sister's warning. The tension between Amy and Nathan starts to build. When she confronts him, he doesn't deny that his sister made the deal, but he swears he didn't know about it. He looks her in the eyes and says, "Amy, you have to believe me. I would never lie to you." But the problem is, Amy has been lied to before, by people she trusted deeply. And even though Nathan's words sound true, there's a hesitation in his voice that plants a seed of doubt. For the first time since they started dating, Amy doesn't know if she can trust him completely. Meanwhile, Lindy notices the tension too. She's still trying to recover from the fear of losing her mother in the fire, and now she senses that something is wrong again. She asks Amy if Nathan will still come to her school event, and Amy, trying to stay strong, says yes. But when the day comes, Nathan doesn't show up. He sends a message saying there was a problem at his sister's ranch, and he had to help. Lindy is disappointed, but Amy is furious. To her, it's not just about missing an event. It's about priorities. If Nathan's family always comes first, where does that leave her and Lindy? The episode takes a heartbreaking turn during a quiet evening scene at the ranch. Amy sits on the porch, holding the same photo of Ty and Lindy that her daughter saved during the evacuation. She looks at the photo, remembering everything she's been through. The love, the loss, the strength it took to stand again. And suddenly, she starts to question if she's repeating the same mistake. She wanted to move on. She wanted to love again, but maybe she rushed it. Maybe she fell for someone who isn't ready to stand beside her when things get complicated. When Nathan finally arrives that night, covered in dust and guilt, Amy doesn't even wait for explanations. She tells him how disappointed she is, not because he helped his sister, but because he didn't trust her enough to be honest about what's happening. She says she's tired of being the one who believes in people only to get hurt. Nathan tries to hold her hand, but she steps back, tears in her eyes, and says, "I can't do this right now." That line breaks him. You can see his heart crumble in that moment, but he also knows she means it. He apologizes softly, saying he just wanted to protect her. But Amy replies, "You don't protect someone by keeping them in the dark." And that's it. The silence after that line feels endless. Nathan nods, realizing he's lost her, at least for now. He leaves the ranch quietly, and the camera lingers on Amy, standing alone on the porch with the fireflies flickering around her, looking both heartbroken and strangely peaceful. It's one of those rare Heartland moments that say so much without needing words. The episode ends its first act on that emotional cliffhanger, leaving us wondering if this breakup is permanent or just a pause before something bigger. Because even though Amy says it's over, there's still that invisible thread between them, the one that makes you believe that maybe, just maybe, their story isn't finished yet. The morning after their heartbreaking conversation feels heavy, almost too quiet for Heartland. The sun rises over the ranch, but it doesn't feel warm anymore. Amy moves through her morning chores like a ghost, doing everything automatically, as if her mind is somewhere else entirely. You can tell that she's trying to stay strong, but deep down, she's shattered. The person she trusted, the one she thought might finally fill that empty space left by Ty, is gone. Not because of death this time, but because of disappointment. And somehow, that makes it hurt even more. Lou senses something is wrong the second she sees Amy. They're sisters. They can read each other like a book. Lou doesn't even have to ask. She just sighs and says, "It happened, didn't it?" Amy nods without looking at her, and Lou feels that mix of guilt and sadness that only sisters can share. She wanted to protect Amy, but she also knows that her words were part of what broke her heart. Lou tries to comfort her, saying she did the right thing, but Amy doesn't respond. You can see it on her face. She doesn't even know what the right thing means anymore. Later, Amy takes Lindy to her school event alone. And honestly, this scene feels like a punch to the gut. It's bittersweet. Watching Amy trying to smile, trying to act normal for her daughter's sake, while her heart is clearly somewhere else. Lindy performs her part in the event, and she does amazing. But what truly stands out is the look she gives Amy afterward. That look says everything. I wish Nathan was here. Amy feels it too, and it's almost unbearable. She claps and cheers, but when the applause dies down, there's this long pause where Amy realizes just how much Nathan's absence hurts both of them. Meanwhile, things at Heartland take a turn for the worse. Lou receives a call from the mayor's office, and apparently, the land deal Nathan's sister made is creating problems for their expansion project. It's more serious than they thought. It's not just a conflict of interest, it's a potential loss for Heartland. Lou is furious and starts blaming Nathan's family directly. But Amy, even after everything, doesn't want to believe Nathan had anything to do with it. There's still that part of her that hopes this is all just a misunderstanding. She decides to confront the situation head on. Not to defend Nathan, but to finally get the truth. She drives out to Nathan's sister's ranch, the same place he said he was helping at when he missed Lindy's event. And when she gets there, she immediately realizes something is off. Nathan's truck is there, but she doesn't see him around. His sister Victoria greets her politely, but there's tension in her voice, like she's trying too hard to sound calm. Amy asks her straight up about the deal, and Victoria admits it. Yes, she made the deal knowing it would hurt Heartland. She claims it was just business, and says Nathan had nothing to do with it. But when Amy presses further, Victoria slips up and mentions a meeting that Nathan attended with her before the paperwork was signed. That one sentence changes everything. Amy doesn't say a word at first. You can see the disappointment spreading across her face. Not just anger, but heartbreak, the kind that only comes from betrayal. She thanks Victoria coldly and walks back to her truck. The moment she sits down, you can tell she's fighting tears. All those feelings she was trying to suppress suddenly come flooding back. She remembers Nathan saying he would never lie to her, and now the truth feels like a knife. Back at Heartland, she tries to hide her emotions, especially from Lindy, but it's impossible. Lindy asks again where Nathan is, and this time Amy just says softly, "He won't be coming for a while." Lindy doesn't say anything. She just hugs her mom, and that hug says more than words ever could. It's like Lindy understands that her mother's heart is broken again, even if she's too young to understand why. Meanwhile, Lou tries to handle the fallout from the deal, but it's complicated. The ranch is facing delays, and investors are getting nervous. She tells Amy they need to focus on protecting Heartland, not personal feelings. But Amy can't separate the two anymore. Everything feels tangled. Her love, her family, her work, her grief. It's like she's caught in a storm she can't escape from. The episode then takes an unexpected twist. Just when Amy is trying to move on, Nathan shows up again. He's been trying to reach her, but she's ignored his calls. This time, he comes in person, desperate to explain. He tells her that yes, he attended that meeting, but not to help his sister. He says he went there to try and stop her from going through with the deal. He even claims he warned her it would cause problems for Heartland, but she didn't listen. Amy wants to believe him, but after everything that's happened, she doesn't know what to think.
There's this incredibly tense moment where Nathan looks at her and says, "You have to know me better than that, Amy. You have to know I'd never do something to hurt you." And for a second, you can see that flicker of the old connection between them. But then Amy's eyes fall on the old photo of Ty and Lindy again, sitting on the porch table, and her expression changes. She says quietly, "I thought I knew Ty too, until the day he was gone." Nathan doesn't know how to respond to that. There's nothing he can say that won't sound like another empty promise. The scene ends with Amy walking away from him again. Not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. She's scared of losing someone again, scared of repeating the same cycle of love and pain. As Nathan stands there watching her go, it's clear that both of them are broken in different ways. Amy walks into the barn, closing the door behind her, and Nathan just stands there in the fading light, knowing that no matter what he says now, words won't fix what's been lost. The episode's tension keeps building from here, and what happens next will completely change everything for both of them. After Nathan leaves Heartland that evening, Amy feels completely drained. It's one of those rare moments where even the horses sense something is wrong. You can almost feel that silence stretching across the ranch, the kind of silence that isn't peaceful but heavy, like a weight pressing on everyone's chest. Amy spends the night in the barn, pretending she's checking on the horses, but she's really just trying to think. Every corner of that barn reminds her of Ty, how they used to talk late into the night, how he always knew what to say when she doubted herself. She thought she'd never find that kind of connection again until Nathan came along, and now it feels like she's lost it all over again. The next morning, Jack finds her still there. He doesn't say much at first. He just sits beside her and watches the horses with her. That's the thing about Jack. He doesn't force words when silence says enough. After a while, he says quietly, "You can't fix someone by losing yourself, Amy." Those words hit her hard, because deep down she knows that's exactly what she's been doing, trying so hard to make things work with Nathan that she stopped listening to her own heart. Jack tells her that love shouldn't feel like walking through fire every time things get tough. He says that when you find the right person, trust should come naturally, not as something you have to fight for every single day. Amy listens, tears in her eyes, but she doesn't argue. She knows he's right. Meanwhile, Lou's problems keep piling up. The mayor's office calls again. Apparently, the land deal Nathan's sister made is being investigated because there were irregularities in the paperwork. It looks like someone might have forged signatures to push the deal through faster. Lou starts to panic, realizing that Heartland could be dragged into a legal mess if their name appears anywhere on the documents. She rushes to tell Amy, who's already emotionally overwhelmed. At first, Amy doesn't want to get involved. But when Lou mentions Nathan's sister again, Amy feels that familiar sting of betrayal. She decides she can't just sit and wait. She needs to know the truth once and for all. So she drives to town, heading straight to the municipal office to look at the public records. And what she finds there changes everything. The paperwork shows that Nathan's name isn't listed anywhere on the deal. But there's something else. A note in the file from an anonymous source who warned the mayor's office about potential fraud. The handwriting looks strangely familiar. It's neat but slanted, the kind of writing Amy has seen before in Nathan's notes. For a second, she doesn't believe it, but the realization slowly dawns on her. Nathan might have been telling the truth all along. He did try to stop his sister. He wasn't protecting himself. He was protecting Heartland. Amy's heart starts racing. Suddenly, every angry word she said to him echoes in her mind, and guilt hits her like a wave. She remembers the look on his face when she walked away, the disappointment, the sadness, the way he didn't even try to defend himself anymore because he knew it wouldn't matter. And now she realizes he stayed silent, not because he was guilty, but because he wanted her to find out the truth on her own. That's the kind of man Nathan is. Quiet, stubborn, but honest to his core. Back at the ranch, Amy's emotions are all over the place. She doesn't know whether to cry or to run straight to Nathan and apologize. But before she can do anything, Lou bursts in with more news. The investigation into the land deal just took a dramatic turn. Nathan's sister has been arrested for falsifying documents, and the anonymous tip that led to her arrest came directly from Nathan himself. Lou can't believe it. She looks at Amy, realizing that everything she said about him was wrong. Amy is stunned, standing there in silence as the truth finally settles in. The man she pushed away, the man she accused of betrayal, was the one who saved them all. Amy immediately tries to call Nathan, but his phone goes straight to voicemail. She tries again and again, but still nothing. It's as if he's vanished. Lou suggests giving him time, but Amy can't sit still anymore. She feels like she's lost him for real this time. Not because of anger, but because she broke his heart. She takes Lindy with her and drives toward the foothills, where Nathan sometimes works with local ranchers. The drive feels endless, filled with that desperate silence where every second counts. Lindy, noticing her mother's anxiety, holds her hand and says softly, "Mom, we'll find him." And somehow, those words give Amy the strength to keep going. When she finally reaches the ranch where Nathan was last seen, the place looks deserted. The workers say he left early that morning, heading out toward the North Ridge to check on some horses trapped near the old trail, the same area that was badly burned by the fire. Amy's heart sinks. That area is dangerous, still unstable from the damage, and no one should be out there alone. Without thinking twice, she grabs her gear and rides out, determined to find him. As she rides through the scorched land, the air feels tense and heavy. The smell of burned wood still lingers, and the trees look like dark skeletons against the fading light. It's eerie, almost symbolic, the landscape reflecting exactly how Amy feels inside. Her heart races with every sound, every crack of a branch, hoping it's Nathan. When she finally spots his horse in the distance, relief floods through her, until she realizes something's wrong. The horse is alone. Amy jumps off her own horse and looks around frantically, calling his name. No answer. The silence feels unbearable. She keeps walking, scanning the area, until she sees a trail of boot prints leading down toward the riverbed. She follows them, heart pounding, whispering prayers under her breath. And then, finally, she sees him. Nathan, sitting on a fallen log near the water, holding his arm as if he's hurt. He looks exhausted, covered in dirt and ash, but alive. Amy runs to him, relief turning into tears the moment she reaches him. He looks up, surprised to see her, and the expression on his face says everything. Confusion, pain, and that same quiet sadness that's been haunting both of them. Amy kneels beside him, trying to speak but unable to find the words. After a long pause, she finally says, "I was wrong." Her voice cracks as she tells him everything. How she found out the truth, how she realized he was the one who saved Heartland, how she let her fear and grief ruin everything good between them. Nathan doesn't interrupt. He just listens, eyes full of emotion, until she finishes. And then he says something that changes the tone completely. He says softly, "Amy, it's not about who was right or wrong. It's about what we do now." That single line, simple as it is, feels like a turning point. You can see Amy's expression shift from guilt to hope, even if just a little. But before they can say anything more, a distant rumble echoes through the valley. Thunder. The skies darken suddenly, and the wind starts to pick up, carrying with it the smell of rain and danger. Amy looks at Nathan, realizing that the storm is coming fast, and they're still deep in the burn zone. The tension spikes again. What started as a story about heartbreak now turns into a fight for survival. And just when you think they might finally have a chance to talk things through, nature decides to throw one more challenge their way.